Hey guys, this week's episode is brought to you by Solid Gold Effects. They make some effects. That one is not solid gold, it's red.
For a second, I was really scared, Steve. When you said that's not solid gold, I was like, have I just made a terrible mistake? Who have I been demoing pedals for? No, it may be red, but this pedal is solid gold.
It's a Solid Gold Apollo 2. It's a phaser. It's got, 10 waveforms, and then the 11th is like...
There's 11 positions
pedal, right?
on this knob right here. It's a rotary switch for different waveforms. And yes, the last one is linked to the expression jack. So you can plug in an expression pedal and manually control the wave of the phaser. And you can leave that expression pedal plugged in and control the speed of all the other waveforms.
This pedal is crazy. I've already seen the demo of it.
Did you watch it?
And all I can say is
he
if
didn't
you
answer,
haven't seen it yet, how do you... Dude, why would I know what the 11th function is if I haven't seen it?
He saw it. He watched the demo.
How would I know what everything does?
Okay, Steve, I believe you.
Go watch the demo on our YouTube. Go check out Solid Gold Effects. They make a lot of really cool stuff. If you're looking for a phaser, the Apollo 2, super versatile.
I'm going to say my piece on this real quick. I don't usually keep phasers around. I just never bond with them. I used this in a set at church, and I started to feel guilty because it's basically always on. I kept changing the modes, trying stuff out. It's like, I can actually use this. Like, I can creatively apply this to my signal and use it. Every time I've had a phaser, it's just like, oh, cool. It's like, when you get a flanger, it's just like,
right.
It's like, how much can I actually do with this? With the different waves, like, you can make some really unique sounds that work in a rhythmic way in a band setting. It's pretty fantastic. And, of course, you can dial in regular phaser sounds. All right, tell us about the other sponsors, Steve.
Our other sponsor this week is Sinusoid Pro Audio Couture.
What do they make?
They make cables.
And smiles.
This week we're talking about Tech Tuesday. Tech Flex Tuesday means when you go on their site, they have a Tech Flex special. It's basically a bunch of Tech Flex cables that they kind of pre-make. So it might be a color combination that they were inspired by a particular event or whatever. The most recent one that I can remember seeing was it was all purple. I don't know if it was supposed to be a Prince theme or something else, but it was all purple cable. Might have been a Purple People Eater themed. I'm not sure. Also, while we're talking about Tech Tuesday, if you want to always be reminded about Tech Tuesday, make sure you sign up for Sinusoid's newsletter.
Yeah.
It's really great. You find out when they have specials. You find out different things about different kinds of cables that they sell, whether it's Van Dam or their signature slate, which we talked about last week.
It's also a good
Gotham,
idea it's also a good idea to read and stay literate.
Yeah.
And being on an email list really helps you out with that.
The hell are you doing?
Listeners who are just listening to the podcast will have no idea what you're questioning me on.
This last sponsor, but certainly not least this week, is Chase Bliss Audio.
Yes.
Chase Bliss. I finally listened to, this is a weird sponsor twist. I finally listened to Joel's second interview on the Tone Mob recently, and it is such a great listen. The stuff they're making. So the thing I did learn from that is that a Chase Bliss reverb pedal is coming.
What?
I mean, at least he wouldn't rule it out.
Oh, okay. Here are 3 Chase Bliss pedals that are not the other Chase Bliss pedals I have on my pedal board right now. I've got the Gravitas, I've got the Condor, and the Tonal Recall. All these are amazing. The thing I said last time we had a Chase Bliss sponsorship was that Chase Bliss Audio for pedals that are more creative than you are, or something like that. And I stand by that. I keep thinking about it. It's a great thing to say about Chase Bliss because it's true. I will never be as creative as one of these pedals can be.
Also, go watch the Gravitas demo that Ryan made. It's the first demo that I was involved with.
It's pretty
so
fun.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
So thanks all of our sponsors. Let's get to the episode.
Hey, this is Ryan.
And this is Steve, and you're listening to 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
I had this idea the other day that we should do it where we go back and forth. So the guitar buying,
selling,
trading,
modding.
No, you're supposed to say fixing. Damn it. It's not going to work.
I don't think...
Buying, selling, trading, fixing, modding, breaking, and reviewing,
Buying, selling,
playing.
trading... Oh, did I say mod?
Okay, so the guitar buying,
Selling,
trading,
fixing,
modding,
breaking,
reviewing,
playing.
podcast.
I don't like it.
Yeah, that sucked. What's new, Steve? I'm gonna crack one of those too.
I wanted to talk about... I mentioned this last week. I've been talking about this for a while. We got to find some time to make a video.
It's cool stuff, man. We do need to make a video.
The Gunstreet stuff I got in, I talked about it in the sponsor spot last week. That's why we didn't really count. Look at that.
You got your own signature wiring thing there, buddy.
So one of
Super
these
rich Steve
is the out of phase I talked about. This is so cool. This is just the coolest thing.
Push pull pots on that.
Yep. All it is connect the wires and go.
Yeah, we were looking at the instructions that they made just for these individial wiring harnesses. They make just a specific instruction just for your specific wiring harness.
Yeah, this one's a lot simpler in the back, and there's just a wire labeled series. So that's cool. This is going to be for a switching between series and parallel.
We're going to have to do a series of videos on these.
Yeah. So it says the main wiring style is OEM. The sub style is coil cut. So that's actually cool. It's like you kind of like, yeah, it's a traditional tele. So it's a OEM, but it's I guess. But then the sub style, like one of them has a phase switch, the other one has a coil cut. That's really cool. I'm really looking forward to getting this stuff in, doing some work with it, trying to record and really hear what the differences are. So very exciting.
This is the part of the show where you ask Ryan, what's new?
Hey, Ryan, what's new?
I converted... Well, first of all, I got it working again.
Yeah.
I converted the SL into a slide guitar. I did a video on it a while back, but here it is so you can see it. I took the cover off of the stock pickup and put it back in there. There's crazy pull pieces on this thing. I put in the original bridge.
Did you just do that to make it look more wacky?
Oh, yeah. You know it. I like pulled the cover off. I'm like, I'm going to show that off. That's bizarre looking.
How is this? Is this even grounding?
No, it's not grounded. There's no ground wire. It's actually not bad. It probably depends on the environment and the lights. Right. It would take me a minute to put grounding into it. The hole's right there. I just need to make it happen. But I cut the nut to be a little shorter because I knew it was going to be too tall. And then once I got strings on it, I was like, it's still way too tall.
Oh, okay.
It's a slide guitar. We always joke whenever there's like a damaged neck or like a warped neck.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, just put a big nut on it. You got a slide guitar. So I finally practiced what we preached.
Yeah.
I suppose. And actually, it was pretty fun to play when I played it the other day. I'm sure it's out of tune now. Yeah, it's out of tune. But it's pretty cool.
Why don't you finish painting that headstock?
I like the look of the headstock. I know that guy on YouTube was pissed about it. But Steve is referencing an angry commenter. But I'm happy that this guitar does actually function again, in a way. I mean, the neck is long gone, but the body lives on. The original pickup lives on.
This has more playability than my Harmony.
And I've got a slide guitar now, so that's what's new for me.
Cool, man.
I got nothing else. Do we want to jump straight into it?
Yeah. Do our second episodes like continually, generally shorter than our first episode?
Yeah, because we have less new stuff to talk about, and we usually cover housekeeping in the first episode. So yeah, that's the trade-off. We usually get a shorter second episode, and we're usually just ready to get out of here and go home and go to bed.
I hear that.
First ad?
Yeah, this was sent to us by Nick Poppin.
It's longtime member of our group and contributor. I can't remember the last time we got an ad from him, though. If we've ever.
You found this in the group. I haven't.
Yeah, he posted this in the Facebook group.
Custom Telecaster Pine Vintage Vibe T90 pickup. Oh, Vintage Vibe T90 pickups, Bigsby Orange. They're asking $800. I guess this is the description. Body, naughty pine, mostly on the knots, mostly on the backside. Bright orange, transparent satin finish. Dan Electro style off-white binding tape, stainless string ferrule, stainless neck plate and screws, but just a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah. Aren't those T90 pickups what Tyak had in his Tele?
He has the Porter.
Oh, okay.
I think they're called T9s or.
But it's like a similar concept.
The Porters
right?
are 9Ts. Yeah.
Similar concept.
Calibrated set of vintage vibe T90s, chrome hardware. It's got a Bigsby B5 Bigsby USA with Chet Atkins arm, which looks super cool.
Oh, it looks just great.
Callum Bigsby string shaft, soft touch spring, reverse control plate.
Hello, car that's driving by that the mics probably won't hear. Whoa, he's revving it up as he leaves the neighborhood.
This is a really great looking guitar. They're asking $800.
You know, this is a parts guitar that someone put together, where the person who put it together is like hitting a lot of things and had great taste and did things pretty dang clean.
Yeah. Now, what makes you think this is a kit guitar?
I don't think it's kit. I kept saying that in the pre-ep, but
Oh,
I mean
okay.
it's a parts guitar. Like,
Gotcha.
they bought the body, or they made the body with a template. They bought the neck. They bought all the parts. They put it together. There's a really neat thing about it, or interesting thing about it, depending on your perspective, is that they did like a Dan Electro style cloth Tolex wrap around the edge of it.
Yeah.
So you get this like 50-50 bar aesthetic, which you know I like. This orange with white on it.
Yeah.
You can see kind of why I might think that the person cut the body themselves on this picture.
Right.
You can see the
I saw
edge of
that.
the route that the router hit on the
Yeah.
body. I don't think it would have come out of a parts supplier that way. So I'm
Gotcha.
thinking he cut the body from a template. But just the collection of parts and the aesthetic and the execution of it, I think are fantastic. The debate here, is it worth what the guy's asking? He's asking 800. Like, for $800, you can go get a really nice playing guitar, and you know that when you order it, that you're going to have certain protections from the
Yeah.
retailer, and various other details like that. This is, anytime that there's a parts build like this, it's a bit of a crapshoot, no matter how good it looks.
I actually think he should be charging either a little bit more or a little bit less for this guitar.
You just don't like the number 800.
Well, this guitar is being sold by Don't Panic Guitar Works. So clearly this guitar should be getting sold for either $842 or $742.
Or $4,200. Or $42.
Yeah. Or
42 has to be in
there
there.
needs to be a 42 in here for sure.
And it should come with a towel.
Yeah.
And a subscription to Babelfish.
Clearly, all of these things.
Every reference you could make.
I'm glad you got that joke. I was 50-50 on whether or not you were going to
I
get
love
it.
Hitchhiker's Guide.
You don't read. Did
You
you
don't
listen
have
to
to.
them all?
You don't have to read. There's a radio show. There's a TV series.
I've never
movie.
listened to the radio show or watched the TV series. I did see the movie.
I watched the TV series a lot when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
With every new version of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you lose information.
Right.
Like, you read it to get all the information.
Yeah.
Then you listen to the radio, and it's entertaining, but you lose information. And then the TV series bleeds off information. By the time you're to the movie, like, there's barely anything left.
Yeah. Yeah.
What they need to do is they need to make a modern TV series out of it, where that would just run on Netflix and just milk every little detail so they could run it for 10 seasons or whatever.
I think they could do that too.
Me too. I think they would nail it.
If they did, let me think. I think what would it be if they did like one book per season? It'd be like 7 or 8 seasons, I think.
Sure.
And they're already all written, so wouldn't it be like Game of Thrones where they're just making crap up
Yeah,
after a couple seasons?
that's my biggest beef with Game of Thrones. It's all just made up. Just a bunch of made up stuff. Not like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where it's all true. I remember reading the news when that whale fell out of the sky.
Shut up.
Should we get into something else? Do we have anything else to say about this guitar?
I'm trying to look it up right now because I want to see what other kinds of builds this guy does. But it doesn't help that I cannot spell Bigsby.
I think what would have put this over the edge is if he had cleaner edges with that routing on the body. And if he had done something fancy with the headstock to make it look like it was at least his own brand. You know? Well, this is suffering from lack of branding, which just makes it read as a parts guitar. But the rest of it is just so charming and so
this thing
like
looks
there's so many
really
great,
good.
so many great parts involved, and such a great concept involved. There's just something not there making me feel like $800 is the right price. What do you think? Like seriously, 42 aside, what do you think would be a tempting price for you?
I don't know. This guy's kind of like, this is the price point he tends to hit. Maybe it's a little higher than it should be.
Well, I think with the parts he's
like,
involving, like I get it, but he's making these parts guitars and then selling them, right? Like that's his gig.
Yeah,
It's not like he built this for himself and then he's just like, I don't want this one anymore.
So like he's got a Fender MJT Relic Jazzmaster on his store for $1,250. He's got a Warmoth Jazzcaster TV Jones pickups for $1,600. So this is actually like one of the cheapest guitars on his store. I'm not saying that like justifies it.
This guy needs to get some branding. He needs to clean up the rough edges on guitars like this, and then he can ask $800. And those things aren't going to cost him a lot of money. Like he could do it himself, or have a friend do it, or hire someone like me, a graphic designer, to do it. But that's really the next step for him, because this concept is great. And I think the execution is pretty decent. Let's move on to the topic.
Yeah, this first topic was sent by Gabriel Bates. He says he wants us to talk about pedals that we bought but that later learned that we didn't need or we didn't like.
Right, like we didn't bond with them. Like we got a rescue dog and then a week later took it back to the pound.
Wow.
Like, sorry, dude, didn't work out.
Yikes.
That's a sad story. That's just got to be the worst. You get a rescue dog and then you have to unrescue it.
I think that happens a lot, actually.
When my wife and I first got this house, we were doing this service where like they hook you up with a rescue dog and then you watch it until you're like, I don't like this dog. Or like until someone else adopts it.
Right.
It's all about keeping dogs out of
fostering
them to keep them out of the kill center, basically. And we discovered pretty quickly that we weren't up to the task within like the first like 2 or 3 dogs. Like it just was not working out. But I'm glad that we
like because of the dogs, or because like you guys were getting burned out on like having to give dogs back.
Weren't in the place of being responsible for another life like that yet. Like the first dog, the first day, the side gate didn't get closed all the way. The dog escaped, and someone called us because they found it. And then my wife started like having allergies to the dogs and stuff like that. It was just too much. And then there became a situation with one of the dogs where we're like, okay, we think we're done with this dog now. And they're like, well, we don't have another home lined up for it. So can you guys hold on to it for a while? And it's like, okay. But at least we weren't returning dogs to the pound.
Yeah.
So yeah, have you ever had a pedal that, like, I guess the scenario is you window shopped for it, you really thought about it, you watched all the videos, and then you got it, and you're like, this is going to be the thing I thought it was going to be, and then it just never worked out?
I mean, I got a lot of pedals
we sell stuff all the time. So.
I know. I've got pedals that like I've picked up. The one general effect that I always say that I am in a loop on are wall pedals.
Yeah.
Like I buy it and I'm like, I don't want this.
I'm telling you got to get the mini Crybaby.
Is that what you have on your board right now?
Yeah, it's right there on my board.
I saw that the other day, and for some reason I wasn't sure if that was I couldn't remember if that was the wah or the volume.
It's the wah. The volume's next to it. The wah is great.
For some reason, I thought that was an expression pedal.
It can be. It has the functionality to do it if I want it to be. But the mini Crybabies are fantastic. I'm never going to go back to a full size Crybaby ever again. and it sounds, I think, better than my regular Crybaby.
Well, I think the Mini has the Q circuit, right?
It has the 3-position switch inside. I think they have another version that has the Q knob on it, but that one has a 3-position switch that allows you to select between like vintage, modern, and like some other one or something like that. I keep it on the vintage setting, and I've never moved it. I just like the way it sounds, and it's super light, and it's super convenient to swap in and out of on a board. You'll actually use it, is what I'm saying. You know,
I just got like, I feel like every pedal I get at some point falls in this pile. I've got stuff on my board that is just there because I want my board to be full, which is probably bad. I've got
you start putting Altoid tins everywhere.
I've got stuff that like they're not bad pedals. I'm just like so like we talked about Inner Circle Secret Santa. Part of the reason I gave away that delay wasn't because I didn't like the delay or because I didn't use it. It's because I was just like, what class of effect do I have the most of? And
delays.
Somehow it seemed like it was delays. But I've got like a ton. I've got like 6 drive pedals on my board right now.
Man.
It's so bad. And I've got 2.
I get in that trouble. Like
and so the thing is even stuff that like I don't. So the don't need. That's a long. I feel like that's a long list because I got pedals that are just like.
Well, you don't need
any pedals.
A lot of this stuff.
But I mean, like, so I bought the Gunslinger, right? The Gunslinger's on my board right now.
The DoD.
Yeah, the DoD
Nice.
Gunslinger. I don't really need it because it sits in the same general space as like my woodcutter. But it's like, do I like it? I guess I like it. I like some of these sometimes. I think the pedal that I fought with the most, has been on and off my board the most times, is probably the Earthquaker Afterneath.
Oh, really?
But I remember I told you originally like that was the pedal I was going to give away for Secret Santa.
What did you end up giving away?
The Chuck Pedals Tachyon.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because I was like, but the Afterneath is like so cool. I kind of
It's
only
pretty
sometimes
unique.
I sometimes only kind of like it, and I definitely don't need it because I have other reverbs. But I was like, but it's so cool. Like, what if later I want it again?
Yeah, that's the trouble with Earthquaker pedals, man. It's like, I don't know if I need it or I'm going to use it, but it's like I'm never going to get this sound again from another pedal. Like, you're never going to get another reverb that does the Afterneath sound.
Yeah, I think the biggest candidate on this for me, and I should sell it. I should try to find a buyer. Is I've got that SBN Pedals Trinity, which is like a boost,
I remember
overdrive, and like distortion all in one.
What if I started interrupting you and say, Steve, I already know about the pedal. You don't need to explain it. We have an audience that needs to hear it. That's my funny thought. It doesn't matter. Okay, go ahead. Tell us about the pedal that I know about, Steve. Tell the audience.
So anyway, I got it because it was like I just randomed across it on Gear Talk, Praise and Worship. I think someone was talking about owning it. And I was like, dude, I gotta get that back, like in the family, so to speak, as like someone who knew the original builder.
Because you were like in a group or forum with that dude or something.
Yeah,
right?
and but now that I have it, I'm like, it's been sitting in I used it like once or twice, and I put it back in the box because it's got a couple pots that probably just need to be cleaned. But overall, anything that is any level of sophistication, I don't know. I don't know if I don't care enough.
You like it simple.
I just want 3 or 4 knobs and nothing else. And anything past that. And even in the case of the Trinity, like it was 3 different pedals. So it wasn't even like it was like the boost was 1 knob. The overdrive, I think, was actually like a 250 style. So it was only 2 knobs, you know? So it's like there wasn't anything about it that was like overly complicated. It's just big and it took up a lot of space, and I just didn't love it. And I don't know. I need to like get over some of this and actually like sell some things off.
Yeah, I need to do that too. I've started to gear up to give pedals away through the YouTube Patreon. Not so much as, I mean, it's a reward for people who are in there, and I'm not trying to pimp that right now. But
we need to give some stuff away we need to start giving pedals away in the inner circle.
We can do that.
Otherwise, we're gonna start losing inner circle people.
No, we should do that too.
channel.
We should. I should pick 1 a month for each group. and do separate contests for
That'd
them.
be
Not
cool.
contests, but
I'm
it's
gonna
like
do one a month. That's 24 pedals a year, man.
it's 2 pedals a month. Dude, with the amount of pedals I'm getting in, like I can't sell them fast enough. I'm gonna die under a pile of pedals.
It'd be hilarious.
But I've got a box upstairs right now with like 8 pedals in it.
Right.
That I'm listing some of them to sell, but I'm like, I could give these away. If it drives people to patronage, then it's like worth
It'd
it.
just be fun.
In the long run. It's worth it. So I bought a Fuzz when I first started like my Fuzz journey years ago.
Right.
When I started playing surf rock more seriously, I was exploring the genre as something I was actually going to do a project with.
The genre of fuzz, the genre of surf.
Well, there's a certain segment of various songs within the surf genre that are fuzz heavy.
Mm-hmm.
There's songs from the Ventures that have fuzz on them, and there's every song from Davey Allen and the Arrows has fuzz on it. Like that's this whole thing. It's like this like super fuzz he has that's got like a weird octave section on it that's slightly different than every other super fuzz you've ever heard. But I ended up buying this. What was the company that made it? Was it Ashbase?
Ashbase.
They made the Fuzz Bright, which was a clone of the Mosrite Fuzzrite.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, this is just going to be it. This is the fuzz I've been looking for. This is the fuzz sound that I want. And I spent money on it. I just tried to make it work so much, and I could just never make it work in a mix. Like every time I tried to put it into a mix, it just disappeared. But it sounded great by itself, but I eventually had to sell it. I couldn't make it work for anything I was doing. And sometimes I think about it like, I should have kept it just in case. But I don't think, if you can't find a purpose for it, don't keep it just in case.
Yeah.
Maybe it means you should sell it. My funny story with selling it, though, is I hadn't ever shipped anything yet when I had sold it. I had never shipped a pedal before. And so I went to the post office hoping that they would like instruct me on how to ship like packaging there.
Right.
I didn't have it in any packaging. So I walk up to the counter with just the pedal in my hand, no box or anything. And I go up to the counter like, I want to ship this. And I was about to say, and I don't know how to pack it. And the guy grabbed it out of my hand. He threw it into a padded envelope and closed it. I'm like, where's it going? Because I had sold it on Reverb, I think. It was the first thing I sold on Reverb. And
You've never shipped anything before?
I had never shipped anything before.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? I think it was just before we started doing the podcast. But anyways, I knew that was going to show up, and whoever ordered it was going to be like, what the hell happened here? I'm really surprised I didn't get a comment from the dude or like a bad rating or something like that, because it was literally just a pedal in a bag without any other packaging.
I mean, you said it was a padded envelope, right?
Yeah, but it was like super light padded, like barely padded. It was really rough. Like, it was sketchy for sure. I can't think of anything else specifically where it was like I shopped for it and I thought it would work and then it just didn't. I mean, there's so much stuff around here now that, I think because my priorities are different now, where I'm like buying stuff to make content and I'm making, I'm playing parts that accommodate that product. That's just a different mindset for me now. You got that guitar that you didn't jive with.
Oh yeah, the Radiator, the Godin.
That same thing happened to me with that Jaguar that I had.
And that was a bummer because that was a guitar that I'd want. I remember playing that in a store like years ago, and thinking like, oh, this plays great. Like I really got to actually own one of these days.
Yeah.
And then I finally owned it, and I was like, oh, this plays great. But I don't really like...
You don't have a use for it.
It honestly is like kind of... That guitar is like too jangly. It's a little too much
I'm trying to think of a
jangles.
time when it would have been a good guitar for you. But I feel like that's the sort of guitar you build a project around. Because it's so quirky and unique,
Yeah.
Should we move on to the next ad?
Yeah, this is a Headstock pickup.
You said that like it's such a normal thing. Oh, this is a headstock pickup? No big deal.
This was sent by Ken Gifford.
Oh, is this just another one of the headstock pickup ads?
This is a modified Mexican Strat, 1994, $150. It says, all right, I'll be honest. I made an unfortunate decision with this guitar and modified it with a pickup at the nut. Good idea, great freak sounds, but poor execution. The headstock cracked a little. Nothing that will affect playability or be long-term detrimental. This isn't a Gibson, I say, looking askance at every SG with its headstock cracked. And is easy enough to glue back together if that's your intent. The price reflects the modification since it's in good condition. Otherwise, besides being a little beat up for all the noise I was making... What? Being a little bit... Okay, it's been upgraded with lace sensor pickups and includes a gig back and tremolo bar, neither pictured. Open to the following trades: percussion instruments, tenor / 5-string banjo, mandolin.
So this is an older Mexican Strat with a damaged headstock.
This is also a Squire series Mexican Fender.
I don't understand the hardware that's going on here.
I don't quite understand what kind of pickup this is either.
If you're listening to the podcast, go look at the picture in the link of the episode description. It's some sort of big, like, industrial-looking part to a hinge, like a door hinge or something like that. And I'm assuming the pickup is mounted underneath it. But that doesn't make any sense. I really have no idea what I'm looking at here, and it looks bad. Isn't 150 pretty close to what this guitar should go for anyways?
That's what I feel like.
It's a Mexican, but it is a Squire, and it's a 94. It's going to be a good player, but it's not going to, like, blow anyone away.
You can tell from looking at that this has the cheaper tuner. Speaking of those cheaper tuners...
Yeah, that's a problem, too.
I did see a picture the other day where somebody took the covers off of one of those cheap tuners and basically found... They did this, I think,
They found someone's drugs?
Epiphone, and found that, like, a lot of the lubrication had, like, solidified. And so they just went in and, like, removed all of that and then put in, like, fresh, like, gear oil.
Well, sure.
And then it suddenly, like, they're like, oh, it tunes great now.
Go down to the the auto store and get an oil additive, like the thing that they show in the display where you crank the gears and, like, the oil additive goes all over the gears, and just, change the oil in your tuners.
Right, yeah.
You got to do it every, like 2,000 riffs or something like that. Change the oil in your tuners. No, you're not going to run with that at all?
No. No car jokes. Leave that to the professionals. How much would you pay for this?
If I saw this hanging in a pawn shop and it was $150, I would be haggling. I'd be like, there's some sort of ridiculous thing happening with the headstock. So the neck is a gamble. Who knows about the neck? So I'd really only be buying the body,
right,
and the hardware.
Well, it does have lace sensor pickups. That is an upgrade.
Are the lace sensors in the body, or are they under the?
Yeah.
Are they on the headstock?
Yeah, presumably are on the body.
I would just be buying the body and the pickups involved, because I would consider the neck a loss if I was haggling for it. Like, the neck is a loss. I'm gonna pay $75 for the body and the hardware involved. So that's just my gut. And that's a pawn shop situation. What do you think? Do we have a picture of the body? I don't see it.
No. You can, like, zoom in on the text.
Oh.
You can see it. It's like
it's red.
It's red, black guard. I don't know. Like, even this 150, like, I think I'd offer like 75.
So we're kind of in the same place.
I think I'd be willing to go like 110.
It's a project starter. This isn't a guitar you buy and you're like, yay, I got a guitar. You're like, yay, I got a project.
Yeah.
Or is it a parts bucket where you're moving stuff to other guitars, like you're harvesting those pickups?
I mean, very rarely do I buy a guitar or buy anything and think, like with the sole intention of, oh, I'm just gonna part this out.
Sure.
I've done it.
No, but it's a very specific thing when you do that, and that's why it commands a lower price if that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because there's work involved on your side.
I feel like it's got to be cheaper than that. Oh, that's a guitar. When I think about the number of guitars that I own, that I always forget about, is the guitar that I bought off of a pawn shop on eBay that was made in the Philippines. It was that Les Paul one.
Oh, yeah.
I still have that somewhere.
Where do you even keep this stuff?
It's just in a I've got like 6 guitars in a closet.
You should bring that back and we should do a video of it. Was it functioning?
I forgot about that. It makes sound. The action's terrible.
Yeah.
It's the pickups are super microphonic, which is really fun. But otherwise, it's no.
Maybe we should throw that off a bridge.
Shape. Yeah, I forgot I owned that.
Is it in that case?
It is not in any case right now.
It's just floating around in a closet somewhere.
Yeah. Why would I put that guitar in a good case?
I mean, that's a good question. Should we? Are we done here? I got nothing else to say about this disaster. My question is, I want to know where that metal piece came from. Like, what hinge did that come out of? And I want to see this, like, construction of the pickup underneath it. None of this is making any sense to me.
Yeah, I don't understand that pickup either. It's very strange.
So bizarre. Like, is it underneath the metal plate? Like a coil and a magnet?
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be what it is. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't get it at all. Whatever. The only clever thing about it is that he fit one of the tuning pegs through the screw hole for the hinge.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And the thing that I hate about it the most is that it's impossible to like adjust the truss rod simply on this.
Oh yeah, he's completely blocked functionality. I bet it's hard to load strings into that thing now too.
Yeah. Oh, we doing this now?
Yeah, we're gonna do this now.
Moving on.
We're moving on up to the next thing. Instead of a topic, we're gonna play around with a pedal again. We have got the OMEC.
Yeah.
Made by Orange Amps here. Got to turn on the transmitter. Yeah, I can't see it, so you do it.
Oh. It's called the Teleport audio interface.
So let's get back to... I'm running MIDI Guitar 2, which is an app. I should explain what this is. The OMEC is basically an iDevice interface in a pedal format. So you can put this thing on your pedal board and then plug your iPhone or iPad or, other smartphone or smart device into it and run all sorts of different effects and programs that work with your guitar, or use it as like a recording interface off your pedal board. It's a bunch of fun. I'm going to mess around with MIDI Guitar 2 here. And Steve, if you want to, you can mess with settings.
Yeah. So this is the MDA piano setting. It's kind of like, even for each one, there's like different things. So, tremolo, auto pan. I guess that's the end. I got to the end.
Here, let me see it.
Well, that was just for like the different effects.
There we go. This is fun. Like, doing a bend with it gets wild.
Yeah. This is dance piano.
Oh, there's the broken
this is the one.
I love this setting. Broken piano.
Oh, gosh, man. It's rough.
Like, there's something to drop into a set right there. But, like, you need a piano part in, like, just one part of a song in your band's set. This kind of does it.
It's funny, like, I remember back when we were going to a lot more shows and playing a lot of shows, I think I would have thought something like this was really lame. But now I actually think it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh, the app is just a preview, so it quits on me sometimes. So there's got a bunch of synth stuff in it.
I really like the synth stuff.
bending gets so weird. It's kind of a trip, and there's a bunch of different apps that work with it. A bunch of them are kind of expensive. And some of them are cheap or free. It works with GarageBand. Let's see if we can get into some other weird stuff. Oops. Here, look through that list and pick something. What'd you do? There we go.
Just relax, man. Ooh. Play something low. Wow. This is the gangsta wine setting. Man, there's a lot of settings in this particular one.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun to mess around with.
Why doesn't this one make a sound?
I don't know.
It's called Helicopter. How about this one? Squelchy Frog.
Oh, it's like a slow build.
Yeah.
But I think that's a bunch of fun. Like if you need to just drop like a weird intro into a song with your band.
Yeah.
Like I can't play piano, but you throw me on the piano setting, then I can kind of fake it a little bit. You know? Is this the future of guitar pedals?
I mean, part of me says I hope not, but part of me is kind of like, I mean, I think, you know, if you really think about it, there are people who are kind of already doing things like this. So... Ooh, what's this? Nice! Thumb piano.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's start a band. All OMECs. We'll play guitars, but with other instruments.
I'd be really interested, though not right now, I'd be really interested to see how this tracks bass. I mean, it should do it fine, but like...
There's no reason why it wouldn't work, especially with the bass settings on this app. Like the deep synth bass. Is it on a piano setting now?
Yeah.
This is something fun. I got the kill switch on the Mustang here.
Hold on, let me... Oh, that's cool.
It works out pretty good. It's amazing how quickly it tracks, too. It doesn't feel like there's any sort of lag or anything like that. It's definitely fast enough to play in a band setting. I think it's pretty cool. Here, throw the Apollo after it.
After, okay, so...
We're here. We might as well do it, you know?
Yeah.
Let's find one of the step filter settings.
Oh, I hear it. Now I hear it. Took me a minute.
Find me something really fun and synthy.
Oh, synthy.
Yeah, like a synth.
Let's see.
I guess it has to have a bit of a
Here
sustain
we
to
go.
it. I mean, because
Here, try it now.
because the OMEC is pedal board formatted, like you can like
Yeah.
take a piano or a synth and throw it before like any effect you want, really.
That's cool.
Yeah. Makes me want to watch Flight of the Navigator.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty cool. You have any questions or thoughts about it, Steve, before we move on?
I mean,
Or you
I
want to
saw
mess
this-
around with stuff?
I saw this thing a few weeks ago, and like when you first got it, and I've really been trying to process. Like, yeah, let me mess around with it, and you can play with the software.
What happened here?
I don't know. A button got pressed.
I'm gonna have to restart the software here. So the software has polyphonic and monophonic. I
Right.
feel like it tracks a little faster in monophonic, but you don't get the chords anymore. Now you're back on poly. I feel like I want to throw like a fuzz on there or something. Here we go. We got a delay from Analog Man. I mean, from Solid Gold Effects. It's the Electro Man by Solid Gold Effects. This is going to be really interesting for everyone just listening to the podcast.
You're supposed to keep the show going, right?
There's the gangster wine. That's weird with the delay. Oops. The app ran out. Is this something you think you could use?
I think it's something that I could probably. Like you said, it's like if I was trying to do specific kind of keyboarding sounds, I couldn't use it the way that I'm currently using it, which is like playing guitar.
Right.
Put on one of the bass settings. Take it back to one of those.
It's a bunch of fun though. If you're looking for a pedal to like just have fun with,
So,
it's
like,
a great project starter.
I don't love this bass sound, but I can see how, like, if I wanted to track bass, I could.
I think the power wasn't talking nice with the Electroman. It might need to be on isolated power because we were getting quite a whine off of that. We're just running a daisy chain here.
But like, so approaching this more like if I was trying to put together bass lines, like I can see, like I said, it's not a good bass. It's not, I shouldn't say it's a bad bass sound. It's just not a bass sound that I feel like is particularly.
Sure. We're going to find some other settings. There you go, harp. Everyone needs a harp. It's so quiet, I hope this is recording. There we go, turned it up. Should have monitored that earlier. You can start a ska band, you got a horn setting. I don't think you can play synth horns like a rhythm ska guitar. There you go. There's your sound. You gotta kind of chase the volume around because it's different levels on each setting. There's an electric bass setting. All right, I think we've done enough damage here. Maybe we should move on to the rest of the show.
So that's actually one, like I said, like if I was tracking,
Right.
I think I could probably like re-EQ a single channel to make that. It does not like the bends at all.
No, not at all. Yeah, let's move on. You guys heard enough of that. I'm sure we just lost a crap ton of listeners doing that stupid little thing. You want to do our sponsors, and then we'll get into the last ad and get out of here?
Thanks again to our sponsors, Chase Bliss Audio, makers of several fine pedals we've talked about today, and just a whole lot of stuff. Super cool guy. Joel is,
he's the best.
It's really easy. A lot of the people we've worked with in the gear industry are very friendly people, but Joel is easily one of the most.
He's the nicest guy in the biz. He's a real sweetheart.
He's the nicest guy out of a whole big crop of nice guys.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, like,
I'd let him marry my sister. Not that I could stop him.
Isn't he married?
If they wanted to get married, I couldn't do anything to stop him. Yeah, I think he is married.
Thanks also to our sponsor, Sinusoid Pro Audio Couture. Go check out some Sinusoid stuff at sinusoid.com. We use all Sinusoid cables here on the show, as far as I know.
I don't see any cables here that aren't Sinusoid.
Neither do I. But I hate being a liar, so I always make caveats, even when I don't need to. And last but not least, Solid Gold Effects. We were messing around with the Apollo 2 earlier. Ryan pulled out the Electroman, who I think there are demos up for both of these now. Yep. So you should go check that out. Check out Solid Gold Effects. They don't just have the pedals that we're messing around with here.
They have lots of other pedals too.
A ton of different pedals.
I've also got the Funkzilla that I'll be doing a demo for very soon. I special requested that one. I was like, I want that Funkzilla. I want to get so funky. So I'm looking forward to messing around with that thing on video.
Yep. You ready for this last ad?
Yeah, let's hit it and hit it hard.
All right, this last ad was sent by John Stockton. It is a Fender DG12 acoustic. What model
is it? It's hard to tell what this started out as because the headstock is something else.
Yeah. Well, the headstock I think is added on.
That's possible. It looks very... like the functional part of the headstock looks out of sort. Like the tuners are all spaced very oddly. The headstock shape is very unusual. This person looks like they took a chunk of wood to replace a broken headstock and then got creative with the carving of the wood past where the last tuners are and carved a very large wooden like hand extending the middle finger in a very like realistic way. Don't you think
that's what it looks like? But I think really,
okay, what are you? That's what it looks like. That's what it is, Steve.
No, but I'm saying like I think that's just like it's like two separate pieces and the middle finger was just glued on.
Yeah, but look at the actual headstock part of the guitar. That doesn't look like anything Fender made.
No, it doesn't. It's very weird.
I think the whole thing is aftermarket. Something that bugs me about this is when you flip someone off. I get the idea. I get the concept of like there's a middle finger constantly flipping off the audience here. Mm-hmm. When you flip someone off, do you show them the part of your hand where you can see the nails on your fingers and your thumb curled around your fingers, or do you show them the back of your hand?
You show them the back.
That's the way this should be oriented on the guitar.
Right.
Because otherwise the person holding it is flipping off someone standing behind them.
Yeah.
That's my only...
That's your only complaint.
That's my only problem with this guitar. The rest of it is fantastic. A real home run.
Wow.
Fantastic. What is he charging for it? I don't care. I'll buy it. $149.
Is it really $149?
That kind of carving work, you can't get that for $149. Like this is a quality piece.
It ships for $30.
For $180, this could be yours. You could hang this up.
It could be yours more.
You could hang this up in your family room, in your dining room. It would be a cherished addition to your home aesthetic, and a valuable like stage piece that really communicates so many things. I don't know why you haven't bought it already, Steve.
Probably because it's in Lakewood, Washington.
Shipping's $30, Steve.
I know.
This could be yours.
Why am I making these lame excuses?
The only thing wrong with it is that it's missing the nut around one of the tuners.
That's an easy
right?
fix.
Yeah, you can get that part. It's worth it. What is going on here? That finger is so long, too. Do you think that finger's too long?
Well, I think it's just accentuating the flip.
It's really leaning. It's like the flip is so strong that finger is like shooting out of the hand. It's a pretty good carving job for a middle finger hand. I don't want to see the other side of it, but it's pretty good. Not bad, right? Definitely one of the better carving jobs we've seen.
Yeah.
On the show.
No, it's a good carving. It's just not a thing I want on a guitar.
What? Oh, so you'd want it on a bass. I see.
I just want to put it on my mantle, Ryan, so when I'm enjoying a book,
you can just look at it. You just look at it lovingly.
Yeah.
There it is. The object of my affection.
All right.
The only piece of art in the house that speaks to me, that says something about the way I see the world. You want to close this out?
So this week's song was sent to us by Ian Ferguson. It's called Tendrils Entwined. He says, I have an end of the show tune for your consideration. It's a little math rocky metal compared to the usual, but I think it's pretty fun and has a few moments of light gonkulator here and there.
Light gonkulator?
Yeah. Not to be confused with heavy gonk.
I don't think there is such a thing as light gonkulator.
Good point.
You're either gonking or you're not.
Yeah. So hope you guys enjoy this song. Thanks for watching/listening this episode.
Yeah. Thankfully, the GoPro ran this whole time. Hopefully,
it
actually works. So, fingers crossed. Later, guys.
Bye.